What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap. It's Evan Lawfer and your boy Will here.
Good.
Well, draft just happened. Who knows how your team did, but we'll talk about a few here today, and the good and the bad and the ugly. And I think we can start off with the bad. Let's just start right off the bat with more so, maybe not even bad, I guess, in hindsight, but right now for sure it doesn't even make sense. So I'd consider them ugly with the Atlanta pick.
Yeah.
We take number 8
glaring.
overall, but we're paying another position of the same caliber 180 million, and now the coaching staff. Oh well, Kirk doesn't have to look over his shoulder every time he throws a bad pass, but we all know in this league it's win now or get out.
Right.
So if you're not winning with Kirk and you're paying him 180 million, we've seen these teams just eat the cap. A Broncos, perfect example. Hey, we don't want him. Cut him. We'll eat the cap. Let him go to another
It's
team.
still a lot of money.
Hell yeah, 180 million.
And if that's what they plan on doing, hopefully the best case is Kirk plays well.
Of course.
The Falcons do well, and Penix gets to sit behind him.
Two,
when
3 years. First round,
when
get
that
a
time
fifth-year
comes,
option.
When that time comes, that's what it'll be. But if not, the Falcons might have to be in those dog days like Denver is right now, and
I mean,
potentially
we know Kirk to be a winner. He's a regular season winner. So again, is it really a bad pick taking Penix? If we've seen Kirk get hurt, we've seen him not carry a team in the playoff. I mean, I guess there is good and bad, but I mean, at number 8 overall, like, whoo, that's a bold statement to your
what
future.
we talked about last week with the injuries and everything
Yeah,
as well.
But Penix isn't some non-injury prone player either.
Right,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what
we got
Penix. That's what I'm saying.
Penix, 2 injury prone quarterbacks on the same team for a shit ton of money.
I don't get it. Sure,
I'm gonna put that under the ugly type of selection.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, again, I guess we could say from another type of draft picks in Carolina, you trade up for the first round to get a guy you could have easily gotten in the second round. You just had to have him. I mean, for what? I mean, the guy Leggett, like, I like him. I think he's a burner for sure.
Sure.
But I don't look at him and see a, a Deebo Samuel, if that's what they were hoping for. I mean, Deebo could do it all. Leggett still has a lot to learn on the route tree side. I mean, I think he was a good pickup, no doubt, in the long haul, everything. But not that we traded that much for him or anything for that matter, but just in generally speaking, again, why the trade up? Why make it? I mean, I guess they wanted to be a man of their word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did say that they were going to take him if he was there, so It is what it is. I mean, not that none of their picks really stood out to me either. I mean, I think they took the Texas kid,
Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, the running back.
I like him.
I mean, again,
I like him.
You have no depth at running back, so you have to take him.
Right.
Like you really, if you
I think they kind of made up for the first round pick with the second round pick. I think Brooks was a good second round pick.
Agreed.
That's
a pick where I'm okay with at that position. Like, I've taken him at the second round. I think late second round, mid third, mid
second round, 46.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, that's a completely fine pick with me. I do like the kid out of Kentucky.
Trevor Wallace.
Yeah, the linebacker.
He's good.
I like him out of Kentucky. He's solid.
My friend from FAU was telling me about him.
I like him
as well. So
yeah. So, and then who else was there?
Actually, we have him right here on our list from last week.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I like him. So, and that was a position where we were hurting. We only have, really, you're gonna get a few more years out of our linebacker core that's there now, and then you're gonna have to rebuild that. So
over in Carolina.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. I think moving on to, San Fran, that first pick, I think, kind of shocked a lot of people considering the Brandon Ayuk talks and everything. Like, you take Ricky Purcell out of Florida.
Right.
Are you trying to stick it to Ayuk, or are you trying to say, Ayuk, we're willing to help you? Or, like, what, where's Lynch's mindset as the GM that we're okay with trading him? Okay, we're getting rid of our second best option, third best option.
Probably. That's what
Yeah,
it
that's
seems
what I'm
like to
guessing.
me. That's what it seems like to me.
For
I
me,
think, obviously, San Francisco had their time last season.
right,
They didn't get the job done against the Chiefs.
right. So do
We
you
don't know if they'll be back there.
well,
The
of course,
Chiefs will probably be somewhere
after their draft,
close to
yeah,
that.
they reloaded across the board. I mean,
Will the Niners be there? It's a question mark. So you kind of have to
well, they got one more year,
get
and then they got to
ready.
pay. They got to pay the man that's gotten them there the last two times.
That's
So they
true.
better get ready. That checkbook better be ready to go come next
Yeah,
year. So
yeah, yeah.
if I'm his agent, if I'm Brock Purdy's agent, I'm like, hey, give me all the weapons this year because next year it don't matter what I got. Y'all
Right.
are paying
Or get
me.
me all the
Yeah,
money
or
that's
vice versa. It's
possible.
one or the other. Either you get me the weapons and pull the Tom Brady, or you get me the Randy Mosses, you get me the Julian Edelmans and everybody. You get me the Gronk. All that you make sure I'm taken care of, and maybe I will take a pay cut to win. But after that rookie contract next year, we're getting paid, baby. We're getting paid. I mean,
Especially considering what his rookie contract
are you kidding
was.
me?
You
You're
know,
talking about 800,000 for 3 years, like not even. Like that's with all
it's
the
still good
that's
money,
what,
but
but that we're talking about bonuses off for a quarterback that's taking you to 2 NFC championships, probably 3 at this point. Like, I mean, we're going to talk about Philly here in a second, but with regards to NFC East or just NFC in general, other than Philly, who's coming out that's going to be powerhouse, I guess say
in the
in the
NFC,
NFC. Like who's
the
who?
Lions, the Lions
Lions, okay,
may
yeah, Lions,
may
Lions. Yep,
continue
no,
their
agreed,
upward
agreed. They're getting
trend.
up there, yeah, no doubt. After this draft class too, speaks volumes to how they want to build their culture by paying all their guys, but also drafting guys that are gonna be there to help
Right.
that depth at some of those positions. That Aiden Hutchinson, he was getting double towards the end every single play. Like, for me, they took that edge rusher out of. Oh my God, it's gonna kill me. We'll have to look it up here in a
The
second.
Lions?
Yeah, the Lions, who they took for the edge rusher that they took to help out Aiden Hutchinson. It's killing me. I see his face. Can't put a name to it. We'll look it up here in a second. But again, we'll go into just talking about Philly. I mean,
You said edge?
yeah, they took an edge rusher, right? The kid out of the third round, fourth round, I think.
6th round?
No,
No, that's tackle.
no.
They took some corners. They took
A
two
corner
corners.
that
They needed help
Terrion
at
Arnold
corner.
out of Alabama. That kid's a stud. But between him and speaking about stud corners, how Philly got Mitchell, Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo first round, but then got Cooper
Cooper
DeJean
DeJean.
out of Iowa second round. Bro, if you just put those two rookies together, just that you should maybe give up 2 touchdowns the whole season on deep balls and stuff
Crazy,
like that.
yeah.
I mean, their DBs are going to be locked come this year. Like Cooper, you can put him at your punt return, all that. Like you've got a playmaker. Mitchell is the one of the best lockdowns I've seen in forever. Like true lockdown man press corners, like in forever. And the blasphemy that they're talking about, oh, maybe DeJean should go down to or go up to corner to safety. No shot. Cooper is a lockdown corner. He will lock your one. He will lock your slot. You name it, you got it, baby. Like, I don't know. All that blasphemy is wild to me. I mean, Philly really did a great job with those 2 picks.
Yeah, they did. They did do a good job.
I think they got a sleeper out of the 2 Clemson kids between Will Shipley and Trotter. I mean, your dad played for the team. I mean, the nostalgia for some of those older Philly fans that got to see his dad in his prime. I mean, same mindset coming into this kid, and then they get the kid out of FSU, Johnny Wilson, tall boy. I mean, talk about having a receiver, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Johnny Wilson. I think the one spot they are still hurting. Who do they have at tight end? Anybody? Because Ertz is back, or is Ertz not there anymore? Ertz is at Cardinals. Damn, I'll have to look that up. But again, those 3 receivers, and generally speaking, are crazy good. So I don't know. For me, that receiver core, wow. I mean, talk about giving Jalen Hurts, and then with Will Shipley and Saquon, what? What?
And they
Like,
made
oh my
improvements to their
God.
defense too, which is what they needed.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, their
agreed,
defense
agreed.
wasn't
Up to
obviously,
par. No,
especially
no
towards the
doubt.
end.
Yeah, they were getting beat up for sure, and they had no depth there anyway. So, um,
Dallas Goedert, that's what it was.
Dallas
Yeah,
Goedert. Yep, yep.
he's all right.
He's all right. Yep. But
He's all
again,
right
uh, Philly as a whole, I think they were up there for me, top 5 draft classes.
for
Um,
sure, for sure.
I think I like what the Giants did in general.
Yeah, the Giants did all right. I
Right?
don't think it was anything crazy.
No,
I
no,
don't think they shit the bed either.
no. I mean, considering the last few ones that they did,
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, you know, again, that NFC East, who's going to come out between Dallas and
It'll
Philly?
probably be Philly this year.
Philly, it's got to be Philly. If they don't, Philly, it's a bust of a season for Philly.
Right.
If they don't win the division, that's a bust for me. I mean, Howie
Yeah.
Roseman, the man is a genius when it comes down to the general manager side. I
Sure.
got to give it to the man. Like I'm not a huge fan of Philly, but Howie, I mean, he can really pick them. He can set that thing up to where you really put your business cap on, your GM cap on, and you set aside the feelings towards the players because you can tell he's definitely got the love for his players. So again, he's got it. That's where I sit with him on the Philly side and Giants as well. Um,
Well, it comes down to how well is Daniel Jones going to play this
that
year?
well, yeah. I mean, you
Is
just
he going to
paid
get
him,
hurt?
so
You know, we paid the Giants paid him. It's time for him to really go out
yeah.
there and obviously they lost Saquon and we did lose some other pieces.
For sure.
Xavier McKinney.
Yep.
So obviously we picked up Malik Neighbors. Hopefully DJ can throw him the ball and
Yeah,
and
no
get
doubt.
that going, and got some pickups on the defensive side as well with Tyler Nubin and Andrew Phillips as well. So
Yep.
um, Darren Waller, need to see what happens
Let's see what.
there.
Yeah,
We
I was
we
gonna say.
drafted a tight end. What's his name? Let's see. What is his name? Let's take a guess. Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson. I don't know
I
where he
forgot.
came
I
out
know
of,
that
but
name. I know that name. It's killing me right now. Um.
came out of Penn State.
Right. Right. Yep.
Yep.
So I mean, again, and some of the other players, I mean, that we talked about even last week between Tremont out of UCF, an undrafted free agent, James Williams, who we even talked about going, that top 188, anywhere around there,
Right.
slipping to the 7th. Again, kind of one of those, do you want to be a free agent, get to pick where you go, or do you want to be a 7th round pick and then, kind of be on that cap hit where a team's willing to cut you because you're a lower end of the cap hit?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those, like, as an agent, it's a tough pill because you want your guy to say they got drafted, but you also want to give them the leverage to go into rookie mini camp and be able to kind of put a stamp on their own name. Again, like I said, great on James. I mean, he's definitely, Tennessee has already kind of come out and said that he's going to have to switch to linebacker. That's fine. He's big enough. He's strong enough. He's fast enough. So it's not a big deal. But with regards to him being a safety, I mean, I guess that time has come. Like it's kind of it was going to happen either way. The transition itself was going to happen in the league. I'm surprised it happened so early.
However it happens, however you needed to get
Well,
done.
yeah, however you play, you're
at the pinnacle now.
Yeah,
so
you got to play where you can play. You
gotta
got
be
to
flexible. You gotta
grow
be able
into
to...
the defense, the scheme that you're in. I mean, I feel like Shaq Thompson of Carolina, he's a perfect example. He kind of played that safety linebacker at Washington, but he's been a Mike backer for Carolina for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about a guy who was coming in, who was kind of that same thing, like not sure where he was going to play linebacker, safety, comes in, plays safety, plays linebacker, little nickel here and there. It's like, he did exactly what Luke Kuechly basically did and took over that spot. So good on James for getting drafted. I mean, obviously, I think we said the same thing, 4 or 5-star coming out of South Florida. Kind of, I don't even know. I mean, I didn't see any reports that, character issues or anything like that. So, again, where or why he slipped, I guess scouts have their own mindsets, their own reasoning.
Right, that's what we kind of talked about. It's
So
it's gonna happen.
yeah,
That's what's gonna happen. Stuff happens and
right.
things come out, or behind the scenes,
That we don't
people
hear and we don't
talk
know.
and
Yep,
people slip down. But
yep. So
is that? Oh, that's the neighbors,
that's the
right?
neighbors. Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sure
Yeah.
it won't be that bad,
I mean,
right?
it'll be pretty loud. I mean,
Will it?
that's pretty loud. I mean, for this mic, for sure, this mic picks up everything. So
Probably, but
that
not
mic
probably not
for
these.
these, I mean, I hope not. So
As an agent, of course, like when you have your guys, obviously you want them to go top 188. Obviously, you
of
want them
course,
to go as high as they can.
yeah,
But
top two
but
hundreds.
would you rather have them go sixth, seventh round, or would you rather have them go undrafted?
I mean,
Like
that
you
those are
personally.
those. I would rather my guys get drafted. But again, my whole thing with getting drafted, you're automatically one. You're you better come in and perform because as an undrafted free agent, I'm coming for your head if you're in the same position as me, especially if I know a team's willing to cut you because your cap hit is going to be nothing to them.
Right.
I mean, again, as an undrafted free agent, you go, you do 2 years, you do great, then you get a nice big contract. Whereas like the sixth, seventh guys, they're looking at you like, do we really want to pay him? We just wasted a 6th round draft, and I shouldn't say wasted, but we used a sixth, 7th round draft pick on him. Like they better come in and perform. Whereas like an undrafted free agent, it makes the team look 100% better because hey, we just saw it. We saw he slipped and we took him. We took the chance on him. So I'd rather my guys get drafted either way. It's just a better mindset for my guys to go in knowing that they were drafted, but to also still be hungry and ready to work for
Right.
more.
Right.
So for me, I think my mindset towards getting drafted always eases the. Oh damn! Are they really coming today? So yeah, so saying how everyone can slip is definitely kind of up for grabs, and what we don't see and what we don't hear in the news, and how scouts perceive players after interviews and stuff like that. So it's really kind of one of those. Oh, I'm still thinking. It's kind of one of those. You hope you interviewed well, just like any other job
Mm-hmm.
application. You really, you take it as the biggest job interview between actually physically showing what you have to, what you're capable of doing on the field, and then also interviewing well as a person and making sure that you pass the layover test. That there's more than just football behind your mind. As much as they want football guys, they also want human beings with
Yes.
a mind of their own. Goals of their own after football or whatever it may be. So all that stuff definitely does weigh into consideration when it comes down to these draft picks and where they sit. So yeah, I mean, congratulations to those guys, and really, again, kind of like the Michael Pratts and the Jordan Travis of the world, getting to go to a system where they'll be able to learn behind somebody. They'll be able to sit for a couple of years and really, no stress.
Right.
You got drafted. You got on a good team that's gonna hopefully, and with Jordan learning from Aaron Rodgers, and then Michael Pratt going in to learn behind Jordan Love, who also learned from Aaron Rodgers. It's like one big pinnacle quarterback pyramid. Just trickle
Absolutely.
down. Aaron Rodgers, teaching these guys, teaching these guys, teaching these guys that taught these guys. So it should be, like I said, it should be pretty good for them. Hopefully, obviously they represent the 561 well, and they always have, even in college. So good luck to the boys out there. Um, again, looking at it from the NFL perspective, I think this was probably one of the better depth draft classes we've had
Yes.
in a few years. It was top heavy, but it also didn't lack any meat between the fifth and seventh.
Right.
Like you could sit there and be like, damn, he slipped to that. Like, how'd he get so far down? Like, I can't believe we got him for that, that low of a pick, things like that. So depending on who you were looking at in the draft or what you were looking at in the draft, those are your two options really towards the end of it. But again, like I said, from the beginning, it was very top heavy and it looked good. But even so, when you got into the meatier rounds of 4, 5, and 6, you still had plenty of talent to kind of like put yourself out there. So and really go get that guy, or he slipped, let's go get him now. Like
Yeah.
save yourself some cap hit off of a player you thought you had to go go up for it. Oh wait, no, we're good, we're good. So I think that was a real telling of the draft, and I think this draft class will really set the tone, especially with the amount of quarterbacks that we're taking. It'll set the tone for the next decade or so of the NFL. So now we can kind of get into quick NBA playoffs recap and kind of tighten this episode up here. So I don't think I mean, I think I saw the Pelicans, getting swept. I didn't really think they were all that in a bag of chips. I mean, you know, OKC. I mean, they're just really good.
They are.
I mean,
They are. They have some weaknesses, but they're good and they're maturing fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is definitely something that you need to see.
No doubt, no doubt.
I do think that they have some more work to do. I don't think they're going to win a championship this year. It'll be great, but they have some things they still need to work out in terms of depth at the center position.
Yeah, yeah.
We get a better rebounder, and I think after that, if they can stay together and keep doing what they're doing right now and keep formulating this culture, then the future is bright.
No, agreed, agreed.
And winning this one series is going to help carry over into the next one.
Right. And I mean, again, I think I saw that coming just because of how good they came into the playoffs looking.
Mhm.
So it wasn't too surprising. But then, on the other hand, the surprise of the Suns getting swept.
Yeah.
And now all these stories are coming out, oh, well, this, that, and the other about the offense and the player roles. And it's like, dude, yeah, 3 of the top 10 best players, scorers in the league. Like, I don't want to hear it. You guys are pros. Figure it the fuck out. Like, make it happen. Make it work. Like, this is not kindergarten. Like, you don't have to share the ball every single time. Like, if you're hot, Kevin Durant, like, keep going. Bradley Beal and D Book aren't going to be mad at you at the end of the night because you took a couple extra shots. Like, if you're hot, keep going. Like, I don't know. Just for me, watching it, I just didn't understand how now we're coming out, after we got swept. Well, it didn't really feel like I was using the right role, like the whole season. Like,
that's always how it goes, right? People like to point fingers after
of course,
the fact.
Of course. And now, it's at the manager side, the GMs and the owners. What do we do now?
They're in trouble.
Do we blow it up? Do we take the TNT and go bang? Like,
they're in some trouble. They don't have any draft picks like we were talking about earlier for the next 5 years. I think first and second.
That 2031 is a big pick though. As a 7th grader, you got the 7th graders ready to go, baby.
Yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting to see what they have in store. I personally think that they should start fresh. Maybe try to deal what they have, or in order to get some draft picks or some younger talent.
So you think draft picks for now, like draft picks for this year, or do you wait a couple years? Because
sooner than 2031.
God, I hope sooner than 2031. But I mean, who do you go get? Because Buckstein. I don't know if you know Professor Buckstein.
Sure.
From UCF. His twin brother is the assistant GM to James Jones with the Suns.
Yeah, Trevor.
So with Trevor, what do you think his mindset is? I mean, the analyticals say you keep what you got and you trade with what you don't want. You don't blow it up because of how good their star power is. But on the mindset of it, you just start over, start fresh, because there's so much animosity towards this of a sweep. Like, you got swept, like not just 4-1 or anything. You got swept first round with a team that has some of the best,
young Timberwolves team that
really isn't. I mean, they're good, but they ain't great.
They're good.
Yeah,
they
ain't
good
great.
Now.
But Ant is definitely stepping into his own.
Oh
yeah, no, I would put them somewhere relatively the same as those types of talks, like those two teams. So,
the Suns weren't really impressive all year.
No.
I don't think them
rotations,
getting swept,
injuries. Yeah.
I don't think them getting swept is necessarily a surprise, but it's definitely going to be a topic of conversation now
for sure
for the whole off season.
Agreed, and that's how do you
supposed to be sitting at home this week?
Yeah, they're already in Cancun, baby.
Yeah,
Cancun ready to go. But I mean, here we go, and then there's another thing. LA, 3-1, 4-1, no, done. LeBron, year 21's over. Bronny declaring for the draft. What does LA do? He declined his player option, so he's a free agent. Do you offer, or does LeBron just go to whatever team says, hey, we'll draft Bronny?
Of course.
Like, yeah, I mean, why
That's
not?
what he wants to do. I
I
mean,
mean, do you
and
come back to Miami and say, Pat, I promise I'll get my kid right? Like, what do you say? Yeah,
I don't think Bronny's ready.
oh, I don't need, I mean,
Personally, I
Bronny,
think that he could be in the future. I don't think that I'm not going to hate on him like
I
everyone else
think he should have
does,
just
but
gone somewhere else other than USC. Like, he should have gone to a
sure.
school that was going to play him immediately. Like, let him be double teamed. Let him be the, the picked on player throughout college, and maybe he'll mature towards the end. Because I don't think being at USC really matured him.
No.
He didn't have a real
He's
position.
just a
He
positional
just
player, kind
yeah,
of.
not even. I mean, he was just kind of
Rotational
everywhere.
player.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's just in the rotation just because. Whereas, like, I would have rather have seen him gone to maybe even like a Cal or some maybe Pac-12, sure, West Coast, but like a school, even like a Long Beach State. Go to
Sure.
Long Beach State and like dominate in that what is that WCC, Washington Conference, or whatever,
West Coast
West Coast,
Conference,
yeah,
yeah.
West Coast Conference. Like, let him dominate in that for the year. Maybe even get to play Gonzaga. It was a great game against Gonzaga. Maybe he shows flashes, but again, at USC, I didn't even really see those flashes, other than being athletic at some points. But as a basketball player, still so much growth that needs to happen. And again, he's still young, but you're always going to get the same comparison that Marcus got. Um, who else got? All those former legends, Scottie Pippen Jr., like
Sure.
all the guys with dads that whose legends are forever told. You're gonna have to follow dad's footsteps. So hopefully, dad, maybe getting you on the same team, maybe he can bully you into it. Maybe you can bully you into maturity. Like, hey, now you're getting paid to be here. Now I can
Right.
now I can put it on your ass. You're not just
Right,
my son
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So they're looking at it like that too. So, but I mean, back to playoff talks. Heat aren't looking good.
No.
Bucks ain't looking good.
No.
76ers ain't looking good.
No.
I mean, the East Conference, I mean, the West, I feel like, is definitely the stronger for sure. But like those three teams, the way they're losing is just not good signs for the future.
Right.
Like like
Absolutely.
76ers, like they're saying the Bucks are gonna try to run it back with Dame and Giannis healthy and stuff like that. But it's like, did it really have a great year this year? Like, did Giannis and Dame really go cooking? Like, did they really like bang,
Probably
bang,
not.
bang? Like, not
Probably not.
really. They really didn't.
Maybe not to what the hype was looking
That's what I'm
like.
saying. Like was that hype really all that was, really, bragged about? Did that really produce? No, I don't think so. I mean,
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
so.
our other intern Christian, I feel like he could really put in perspective how maybe like when they get their fan base, their surveys at the end of the year, what they thought. You know, people want to see wins. People want to see. You don't want to be playing in the play-in just to get in. You don't want to, have to fight and crawl. And I think that between being an LA Laker fan and stuff like that, like you don't want those positions. You don't want to be fighting for those, playoff spots. But like, I feel like a Heat fan, you're just used to it. You're used to
Yeah.
biting hard
That's
and
part of that Heat culture, right?
yeah, yeah,
That gritty
yeah, got to get in somehow,
grind.
do it the
Yeah.
dirty way. Do it the long, hard, dirty way.
Yep.
So, but yeah, you look at the Bucks, they should have been a 1-2 seed. It should have been 1 or 2. Dame Lillard, Giannis, Lopez, all on the same team. What's the problem?
Right.
So Middleton, they got studs. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, the playoffs, I feel like always bring out a different animal in other teams. Like Indy just looks really good. Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, I wanted to sign him coming out of college. I thought he was a stud. Um, I don't know, man. It's just, playoffs always, I mean, playoffs for NBA, playoffs for baseball, playoff for NHL. Like, that's what they get paid for, to go into those series healthy, strong and ready to go. So like
Absolutely.
watching playoff hockey now is like, dude, watching the Panthers play, it gets me amped. Like last night, that game was crazy to watch. Like 2 goal interferences to basically save them the whole game. I don't watch hockey at all, but playoff hockey I can watch all day long. Like same with baseball. I don't watch baseball at all, but playoff baseball, completely different animal. And I mean, obviously, I can watch basketball way more easier, but like
Correct.
playoff basketball is completely, that's a different animal in and of itself as well. So.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
exciting stuff. They play harder. There's something
to really play
there.
for
There's
it.
something
Yeah,
to play for. So
lose or go home.
all
Yes,
those extra competitive incentives really bring out the competitive nature that all these athletes have.
for sure, for sure. And I think that's where it's like when you're paid to really bring out the best of yourself, and you are the best of yourself, like you are the best, 100 players in the world. When you put this into perspective, like that's how you do it.
Right.
So, those playoff brackets, I think, uh, when you're laying out the ones through eights, if you get that 1-8 matchup, that eight's really not that far off. Like usually speaking, like when you talk about worldwide comparisons, like number one team versus number 18, they're really not that far away from each other.
Right.
So that's why you can never count anybody out, and especially in a 7-game series. Like you go 7 games, and all of a sudden the home team is on the ropes. There you go, right there. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
can win that game 7. So, again, I think for us and for this type of drafts, playoffs all around the same time. It kind of gives the sports fans of the world so much to look forward to and look at. Like I know for an agent side, I've been nonstop for the last month or so, and I don't even have a client getting drafted this year, like or from the NFL side. I didn't even have anybody, and I was still on the phone making calls, looking at draft reports, things like that. Where you were still even doing draft reports and stuff
Sure.
for players that we didn't know what they were going to land, where they were graded and stuff like that. So for us, as an agent and agency, even if they're not your client, you still got to see where some of these guys go. So for next year or the year after, that you already know where other clients can go or possibility of other clients. Because like if I got a quarterback for next year, and obviously I'm hoping Atlanta's not going to call. Like, yeah, we're Atlanta's good there, so it's like you got to still pay attention to all that stuff. So you call the NFL scout and say, hey, what do you think of my quarterback? He's gonna be like, dude, what are you talking about? We have Kirk Cousins and Penix. Like, we're not looking at quarterbacks. So it's like you got to pay attention to other stuff, like
Absolutely.
to other stuff
Absolutely.
like that. So on the agent side of things, it's like got to make sure your guys are put into the best perspectives and best position. So it's on me to make sure that I don't lose, or that's why I watch all the draft and check all the reports and stuff. Because even if my guy for next year or the year after that, that guy's still on contract and they fall in love with him, well, I don't want him to get picked up by them because then he's never going to play, or he's not even going to get drafted by them, and it's going to be a waste of time. So all
Right.
this stuff, on the agency side, like is very important. Playoff seating, for clients that are on that team, or like say you have a bench player client on the Suns. If they do blow it up, and your client's kind of a part of the explosion, you know what that means? That means you got to go out and find a new job, find him a
Right.
new job. So all that stuff definitely plays into the agent role of paying attention to the sports world in general as a
Mm-hmm.
whole. I mean, not even including soccer and things like that. I mean, we're just talking about American sports, whereas the international side is always going to be growing because it's so new to the world. So I mean, the drafts had like 6, 7 teams all do their draft picks in Germany, like from fan bases and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, any last
Well, it's
notes?
kind of like what you said. The more we do this and get into it, as far as scouting and draft reports and all that, we'll be able to better see. We'll be able to better discern whether or not a player is even worth it for us to look
For
at.
sure,
We some of the players that we've looked at or have tried to go
no
after in the
doubt.
past year, we might not even
Yeah,
want those types of
nope.
players in the years to come. That's another part of the whole experience and really dipping your feet in the
Oh
water
yeah.
and getting yourself acclimated with, what the levels of talent and what you can do with each
Oh,
level of talent.
agreed. Because talent only gets you so far, anyways.
Right.
Because once you get in there, everybody's as talented as
Right,
you
and
are.
then you're going to work for
Right.
them, so it's your time at that point,
Exactly.
and it's your money as well.
Yep.
So it kind of all comes together to shape up this huge agent player culture that
Oh
we
yeah.
have, and it just growing and growing, especially now, like like with NIL
Oh yeah.
and things like the
So much
transfer
more to come up
portal
with that. Yep.
and all that stuff. But just another topic for another day.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's really great, and this is a good time for sports.
Oh
Great
yeah.
time for sports. We got the draft just ended, so
Another
we'll
draft
see.
right around the corner.
Yeah, we got NBA
NBA
coming up
draft is not
soon,
far
and
away. June 7th or June 8th, something like
yep.
that. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's no, it's not. You're talking about like 7 weeks away.
Sure.
It's right there. So again, kind of like never ending cycle of being an agent and running an agency. It's
Absolutely.
always something.
No
Reports
off
on
season.
somebody. There is no off season. I mean, even for me, going to summer league and Europe and all that stuff. Like, yeah,
Sure.
sure, you want to make a trip out of it, but it's all work and a little bit of play. But at the most part, it's always something work related. It's always something to kind of live your life through work
Absolutely.
while also still living life in general. So,
Absolutely.
um, we'll do our sign off here. So, thank you so much for watching again. Please subscribe to the link below. This is Will. This is Evan. Thank you so much for watching another episode of No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap Podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Later.